Good afternoon to everyone. I am Drew County NAACP Branch 6042 President Clarissa Pace, and I am here to talk about the results of the election 2024. First of all, I want to thank each of you, all of you who took the time to vote. For those who were first time voters, what an amazing job you did putting yourself out there to where decisions are not made without you. For those who are ongoing voters, thank you for being committed to the voting system and knowing that if you vote, that it works. Knowing that people get a chance to hear your voice, whether the outcome turns out for your particular issue or candidate or not, you can rest assured and have pride that you did something. You did not just sit around and complain. You did not get out of the race. You actually did something. I want to thank all of the Drew County NAACP members who actually worked hard to get the information out, to tell your family, friends, and neighbors to go and vote. Those of you who actually worked, getting that done, you did a remarkable thing. And I want to say right up front that this is what it was all about to begin with. It really wasn't about the candidate of choice, because if you understand who we are as an NAACP, we work year round working on policies and issues and um, things that make a difference to our community. And so we're always helping to sign up new voters. We're always encouraging people to use their voice. And one way to use their voice is to show up at the polls. And so you did what you were supposed to do. And you can be satisfied and excited about doing what you were supposed to do. That's what you were supposed to do. You were supposed to get in the race. And that's what you did. Now, I do want to speak to those who are still shedding tears. Uh, you've got some people, their candidate of choice, uh, they're hey, they're jumping with joy. They have their flag still going, and they have their mouths still going as well. And then you have those, their candidate of choice did not make it. And some of them are still talking. Some of you are still crying. Some of you are literally grieving over the decision that the majority of the Americans made in this final election. And make no bones about it, those feelings are real. I don't want to be that person that comes in and say, oh, just get over it, get back to life, get it together, because what you feel is real. Now, what you do, what you feel, is what makes the difference. But I do want to identify where some of what you feel probably came from. The first thing is that some of us, I am in my late 50s, about to push 60, and some of us have been through the storm and the rain. Some who are 70-ish, 80-ish, we understand your pain because you've been there. You've been there. You've been through presidents. You've taken the time. You have hoped for a better way. You have hoped for a better America, because America wasn't so great to you before. You have hoped for that. And so what you feel and your disappointment in the outcome, it's real. Either disappointment or happiness, it's real. But I do want to talk to those who are still grieving over this and who have been totally disappointed, connected emotionally to this entire race. And that runs from any age. And a lot of the young people, you all don't understand what you have been going through. So I want to share something with you. Um, some of you don't understand propaganda, but propaganda is a way to persuade you to believe that the candidate of choice is qualified or is best for the job. Um, Adolf Hitler said propaganda is truly a terrible weapon in the hands of an expert. What you have to understand is that during this election, there were some great experts. There were some great experts uh, because propaganda itself is biased information and it's designed to shape your opinion, public opinion, and your behavior. And some of you don't understand that during this election, this is what you were under. This is why some people voted for who they voted for, because the power behind propaganda shaping is first of all, is going to be biased. Um, it doesn't have to be hateful as we saw, but the message is biased. The technique, the means of communication, the environment that it creates a hostile environment depending on what is shared out there. And here's something that happened that you got to understand about how propaganda works. It involves one or a combination of activities. First one it's going to involve is using truth, half truths, or lies. Next one is going to omit information selectively. So if you saw during this campaign, there was only one issue that went through the church world that everybody jumped on. The religious people damned you to hell. That's part of propaganda. I mean, the people had the money, they had the expert to do what it was intended to do. Um, Also, propaganda simplifies complex issues or ideas. In other words, it might tell a part of it, but it doesn't tell all of it. It makes it look like it's a simple view. Propaganda plays on your emotions, and the advertisement is a cause, and it attacks opponents. It attacks opponents, and it targets desired audiences. So make no bones about it. This was a great campaign for somebody. It was great. It was great because there are people who actually became delusional in information, and they were not reading. They were just listening and seeing what was on TikTok, what was on Instagram. And so were you. I'm still talking to those who are grieving. Everybody was doing the same thing pretty much. Propaganda and politics is never a smooth uh, operation. It just depends on who's running as to who does the worst. There are some presidency, I've been through them, where they played fair and square as much as they could. They didn't give all the information, but they certainly didn't raise themselves up like some of them did during this election. All I want you to know is what you're feeling is real, but it comes from somewhere. And it's important that you identify where it comes from so you can stop it quickly. It came from propaganda. And believe it or not, you saw things and you read things and you heard things. And I'm not going to lie to you, it was hard for me. But I had to start talking to myself, stay focused. Your focus is on getting voters. Your focus is not arguing on social media. But there was a time you have to say something. Now it's time to get in place. The election is over. Respectfully so, it has been done. What has been done has been done. And there are still rumors, there are still lies. The truth will not be revealed until the present staff is put in place and they go to work. Now, what are you going to do now? Are you going to lay down and die and cry and waller and bicker and fight and fuss and grumble and complain? I hope not, because we still have work to do. We're not done yet. We are not done. Voting is half the battle. Let me tell you why we're not done. Because in Drew County alone, and you can share this, in Drew County alone, I think uh, we showed the report shows where we have over 10,000 registered voters. When we look at the total amount of voters, I think somewhere a little over 4,000 actually showed up to vote in Drew County. That's sad. That's why our work is not done. That is sad, because not even really 50% of the citizens who are registered to vote actually came out and voted. However, there may be a little increase from new voters, but our target is to get people to stop complaining and get involved, because what you are doing is not working. You sitting, you're sitting, you're complaining, you're not eating, you're not driving, or you're doing all of this and you're paying more. It's not helping because you're not in the fight. So that's why I congratulate those of you who at least took the time to go vote. Be proud of yourself. Be proud of what you've done. And then another thing, be proud of the decision you made. Can't nobody damn you to hell. Mm-mm. Nowhere. Because why? They based their information on propaganda and religion and took off. Now it's up to us, not just to be the bigger person, but it's for us to be righteous, okay? And how we move forward. You can stop now. Throw in a towel, throw in a white towel as far as on this back and forth. But just know that we still have work to do. We still have to get people to understand voting. We still have to get people educated on matters that mean something to us, that touch us. When it comes to gas, yeah, we got to get you educated. When it comes to grocery bills, when it comes to our taxes, and guess what? We got to direct this stuff in Arkansas. Now we got to take care of home. We got to take care of the state level, and we're going to take care of the local level. That's what your focus is now. Get involved. We're Drew County NAACP. We're a nonpartisan organization, and it's not limited. We protect. If you believe like we believe in justice, we believe in equity, we believe and unity. We believe in harmony, but sometimes we have to address things that doesn't particularly feel good to us or you, but we got to make sure we're doing what's necessary to keep everything equal. We're equal opportunity group, and this world has equal opportunity laws. So we've done what we're supposed to do. And if you have not done what you're supposed to do, keep working, keep living. Do what is necessary to get in the fight now. Don't stand down. Don't even run being afraid. Some people I watched on some of your posts, and you said ugly things. I don't want to get into this race battle, but there was one. And you said something on both sides. Just know we're not the same America, and we're not the same people. But we do have a voice, a vote and a voice. And we have the right, you have the right to stand up for yourself. You have a right to stand up for others if you see injustice being done. But here's what we need to do. In Arkansas, we still have to rectify the Lawrence Act. We still have to see about the school teachers who got a raise, but it's going to take 5 years for them to get another raise, regardless to how much education that they get. We got to work on that. We got to make sure that if private schools are going to be able to get funding, that public schools are not left out, and that there's equity in the funds that are distributed. We got to make sure we just voted in issue 1. We got to make sure that technical college students and vocational college students are getting the funds in which we voted for. We've got a lot of things. We got to make sure that Arkansas does not take out important parts of history just because they do not like what went on. We got to make sure that supreme justice is fair in their dealings. We got to make sure that our court systems and our chief of police and our sheriff departments and we got to make sure that our city council and our justice of the peace, our county judges, mayors, we got to make sure now that there is equity in all that we do. That means that we don't have time to be bickering about the national. We got to come home. We got to come home and get involved. Some people may think that it's hostile just because you show up. Yes, you get judged. That people don't want to own up to it. But yes, you get judged by the color of your skin. You get judged by being a woman. You get judged even if you have high education. People don't like you to be educated because it might outthink them. You might use more wisdom than them. You might even understand what they're doing behind closed doors. So we don't have time to keep bickering. The election 2024 is over. Pull up your bootstraps, wipe them tears like a man, like a woman, and let's go grinding. Let's get back in there. The Bible teaches us that we love our enemies. He also tells us that our enemies will become our footstools. But the one thing he said is his power of life and death is in the tongue. Watch what you say. This is a great world. God made it. It's a great America. We may not like how people operate in it, but I'm not fixing to damn the place that I live in. I'm not. I wouldn't trade nothing for America. I ain't going overseas. I'm not dealing with that. I'm not messed up about it at all. I know it's the people. And then you got to realize you don't wrestle against flesh and blood. You just wrestle against spirits and wickedness in high places. I had a recent experience and I'm talking to the Lord myself and the things that I'm feeling. So I don't want to go past what you feel, but the things I'm feeling, I'm talking to the Lord. And I said, Lord, I'm tired. I don't want to fight this. And you know what? And why? Because I felt what was unleashed. And that same thing was unleashed to me. I had to keep it out of my heart. So keep this junk out of your heart. There are some hard-hearted people. They don't care what you or me think or do, or if there's any type of justice for us, but who cares? That's going to be between them and who they serve. And believe you me, as they have said so eloquently on one of these groups, I'm not a churchgoer. I don't believe in God. I'm all this. Well, you may not believe, but everybody's going to close their eyes one day and they're going to have to answer to somebody. You got to remember that. You too have to answer to somebody. So love covers a multitude of fault, and grace is sufficient. That's what we're going to give some of these people who believe this propaganda, because I believe it was recorded that this type of propaganda was used on Germany. And let me look at my stats here. I'm going to tell you what happened when deception happens. There was over, let me see, 2 decades, Nazi leaders used evil propaganda, and it cost the lives of 55 million people. That included 6 million Jewish men, women, and children. Let's not be a part of that. You've heard some of it that could cause some really bad ruckus in America, but we're bigger than that and we're better than that. even on a local level. So what you feel is real, but you got to take authority over it. You got to take authority. You have the power. You have the power. But we're not going to stop working. Let me just share some things that we as a organization continue to work on. Our priorities are still clear. And this is coming from our national, and it's summarized in the best way possible. So I'm going to read it to you. Our priorities are still advancing racial justice. That means that we're fighting against discriminatory practices head on to build a more equitable society. We're going to still be creating an inclusive economy to where we can help everybody rise up. We're going to build health equity for Black families. The disparity numbers have been there, but we're going to keep on working on affordable health care and addressing those disparities that are in our community. We're going to continue to promote environmental justice to protect communities of color from harmful effects of pollution and to reverse climate change. We're going to ensure equal access to education through resources and advocacy to guarantee that our children get equal opportunity that they deserve in the education. We're going to continue to work toward protecting women's rights to defend and access autonomy in reproductive health care, workplace protections, and beyond. Because you know we have inequality with women. And then we're going to continue to secure voting access. That means that we're still looking for new voters. We're still educating those who have voted, and we want you to trust in your vote. You're not trusting the people, trust in yourself that you have sense enough to make wise choices based on information. And that's what we're about. So this is Clarissa Pace. I'm the president of Drew County NAACP, Branch 6042, and I bid you a blessed day and a farewell on this election. You can also become a member of the Drew County NAACP and join in with us. Don't just go out there and look at us work. Become a part of what we're doing. You have seen things that you know need to be tapped into, need to be discussed. Let's get to work. Become a part of our organization and let's get to work. And you have a blessed one. I love you all. And I love my community. I love my people. And we just going to keep on working together. And those who don't want to work with us, they'll just have to figure it out. All right. All right. God bless. Clarissa Pace.